Hello, my name is Alexa Magallanes, and I'm here today to talk about sex education, but in the life of a girl. So, let's get started. We all had sex education, I assume most of us did, if not all of us, but what did we really learn in there? First of all, they teach us about the human body and how the woman and the man have different kinds of bodies, and we need to start to know each other, which is very important. And we also learn about preservatives and condoms and how does all of that work. But sometimes they don't teach what we would wish and what it would be nice for them to teach us. The most important things, the parts of pleasure, the parts when we do want to say yes, the parts, all of that, we don't always see it, and they don't always teach it to us. Especially being a girl, which is the topic of today, there's a lot of taboo in all of the situation of girls enjoying sex and girls being able to feel safe and feel great with their sexual lives if they're active or if they are not active. So sex education is something that is really important, and it's great that they teach it to us. But what do they teach? They mostly teach how to say no and how the situation may change when you don't want to have sex, which is extremely important to know. You're in all your right of saying no to sex in any moment that you don't feel comfortable or that you don't want to have sex. But I also believe they forget about something sometimes that is extremely important, and it's what happens if I do want to have sex? Because they always say, like, yeah, so you're gonna find yourself in some situations when you don't want to have sex and you have to say no, and you have to say them, and you have to tell them to stop because it's something that's not right, which is completely correct, and it's great that they teach it to us. But sometimes we do want to say yes, and we do want to feel sexual pleasure, and what should we do in those moments? I believe it's extremely important for a girl to know that she can be sexually active, and it doesn't change at all her value or the way people should look at her. So why is it not the same as for boys? Because I also believe that in many ways boys have it much easier, even though they don't teach it in sexual education. It's a much more open discussion when talking to their friends and saying, like, so how do you do these? Like, how was your first experience? How is this? How is that? And with girls, it's sometimes even like very uncomfortable to talk about that, even with your girlfriends. And it shouldn't be that way, because it's important for us to know, and it's better to be informed. For if the moment comes, you know what to do, and you're not scared of asking, and you don't feel afraid of it, because it's something amazing and that can be very beautiful, and that it should be enjoyed. So why can't it be the same ways as it is with boys? Something that is very important to know is, how can we change this? How can we as a society have a better space for all women to feel safe and to not have this extreme taboo when it comes to women's sexual pleasure? And I believe the first way to change that is between women. So there's all of these names we call women that are sexually active, or that we know they kissed a boy and they kissed another boy and they're very flirty and whatever. They're called horrendous names, and not even one of them is the same level as bad for men. So men also have names where they get called at for kissing a lot of girls or for hooking up with a lot of girls, but none of them is not even close to how bad it is to be called a name being a woman. And I think a lot of the times, and most of the times, women are the ones that call each other names. So the first step for women to being free and comfortable with their sexual activity is for us to support each other. If you hear that another girl had sex with a guy or hooked up with a guy, and you don't like it at first, think about why you don't like that. Why do you feel uncomfortable with another girl and another guy that have nothing to do with you having sex with each other? It's none of our business to step into that relationship that it was theirs. So I think that that's the first and most important step, on helping each other out, and on knowing, how to be, better and at expressing our sexuality being a woman. There is also an extremely important point, that is the part of saying no. You can absolutely say no, and there's a quote on the book, Under Pressure by Lisa Damour, that says, "Our daughters can enjoy their romance lives only if they're comfortable expressing what they do want and have practical ways to steer clear of doing things that they don't," which is extremely important because it shows both parts. Sometimes you do want to, and it's very important for you to express that and to be prepared and to not be afraid to ask questions for when you do want to have sex. And some other parts is that you don't, and that is extremely okay, also, and you're in all your right of not having sex and of saying no all of the time. But it is a reality that a lot of girls live right now, that is, being in a kind of a jail and not being able to express, their sexuality as much as they would want to. And I believe this is, something that we need to change as a society, and it's extremely important to change. And I think that if we all stick together, especially us girls, it's something that we are going to be able to change, to make this world a better world. Thank you.